she's a really sweet person, so just be
Oh,
Bye. I'm gonna shut this all the way to you.
thanks.
Is it anywhere? Yeah. Okay.
Can you start with the recording now?
Yes.
Just give me 1 minute.
Do you have a pen?
Yeah. Oh, or
One
you're
minute.
gonna, oh, 'cause, oh, another pen, yeah.
Hi Vivian.
Hi.
I'm Sridevi.
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming and doing this for me. And to let you know, the first thing is like we are recording the whole session,
Mm-hmm.
and she will be observing us today. Her name is Daniel. And this is a agreement that we wouldn't be using this recording for any other purpose other than our the coursework. Dr. George will be reviewing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a consent form that you are okay with all the recording. If you could sign that for me.
Today's the 16th?
Mm-hmm. 15th?
I think it's 15.
The 15th. Okay, great. So, tell me how are you feeling? How are you feeling at the moment?
I'm kind of tired, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I feel great.
Wonderful. So, to begin with, tell me about what was your best experience in the last week? What was the most joyful moment in your last week?
It was my best friend's birthday, so I went home and
Oh,
yeah,
wonderful.
celebrated her birthday with.
So you had a wonderful time?
Yeah.
Had fun?
Mm-hmm.
That's great, wonderful. So, okay, to begin our session, tell me what actually brings you here?
So I'm in her nutrition class, George,
Mhm.
Professor George. So it was like an extra credit opportunity, so I decided to take that up.
Oh, okay, that's wonderful. So, to know about more, what do you want to talk to us today? Talk to me about today.
I guess I don't really have anything like specific.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just to see how I'm doing nutrition-wise. I mean, I've always like fluctuated in terms of like my diet because I would work out really hard and then I would like count my macros and then I'd stop, and then now I'm just kind of like free-floating in whatever I want to eat,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing specific really.
Okay. So you have been observing what you were eating, and now you're just going with
Yeah.
the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry if I'm looking in between.
No,
I'm
that's
just
okay.
looking through the things. So
Sorry, I
that
forgot to give you that. You want to use this? Sorry.
thank you.
I forgot you didn't have one, sorry.
No problem. That's okay. Thanks. So I'll be asking you a little bit more question about yourself, and we will be talking more about what you want to do in related to the nutrition and exercise thing, and we will be going ahead with those things. So to so let's begin with the a few simple questions. From so when you so among these topics, if you see which one would you want to learn more about, like eating a balanced diet or reading a nutrition label or eating on a budget,
I
which
think
interests you more?
eating a balanced diet and reading a nutrition label,
Okay.
both pretty interests me.
Maybe if we have to focus on one today because of the time
I
constraint.
would say eating a balanced diet.
Okay. So you would say for the eating a balanced diet?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, we can sure talk more about that. Before talking more, I would like to know a little bit more about yourself. So, which grade or year?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior. Okay. So, you live on campus or off campus? I mean, do you commute? Or
Yeah.
you-
And it's less than 30 minutes.
It's less than 30
Yeah,
minutes.
by car.
Okay.
By car and public transportation.
Okay. 81. And how often do you buy meals and snacks outside?
It depends. Sometimes like when I'm working, if I work like an 8-hour shift or something like that, then I'll sometimes buy a meal.
I just need to put this card here.
Sorry, go ahead.
So it depends on my work schedule.
Mhm.
So I'd probably say like maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. So probably
Sometimes.
I'd say sometimes. Okay. How often do you buy meals typically on weekend? On campus or
I'd say
at
sometimes as well.
Sometimes, okay. How often do you buy snacks?
Rarely.
Okay, so that was about the personal information. So let's try to learn a little before giving you the information regarding those about balanced diet. I would like to know a little bit more. So do you have any information regarding the balanced diet? Do you know any? Do you have any knowledge about it? I want to know how much you know before I give you some information.
Well, all I know from like class is the percentage of like carbs and like fats and proteins you want to eat. But for me, I would like to like fluctuate it a little bit just because I do work out, like heavy lifting workout. So I've always heard that like those percentages can be different. Like you should be eating more protein, but as we learn in class, it's not exactly that. So I think I have like an okay understanding of what a balanced diet is, but in terms of what is best for me, like weight and like exercise, that's like what I'm confused about.
Okay. So you already have a little bit knowledge about
Yeah, a little bit, only from class.
from class, and you also mentioned that there is a variation between what you know a little bit and also what's being told in the class. So and that's creating a little bit of confusion for you.
Yeah.
And you are also an active person. You work out. So did I hear it right? You said you would do the weights.
Yeah, and then like 1 or 2 times I'll like run. So, but mainly it's like weights.
Okay. So how often do you go?
I tried at least 5 times a week. Sometimes it'll be 3, but all the other times I do have work and it requires me to walk a lot.
Okay.
So, and then when I do work, I do take public transportation, so that's what also includes the walking as well.
Okay. So you keep yourself active
Mhm.
by running, when you take public transport, you walk, and
Mhm.
that's wonderful. You've been keeping yourself pretty active.
Yeah, I tried.
Uh, So, before I give you more information regarding the balanced diet, I would also like to know about your diet pattern, how you're eating,
Mhm.
and I would like to do a 24-hour recall on that. So, if that's okay with you, I would like to ask you a few questions for what you had yesterday, and go with the prompt of and then like we'll go step by step. So wait for my prompt, and then you can answer
Mhm.
the questions there. So let's begin with the first thing that you had in the morning. What time did you have? What was the first thing you had
I
in the
woke up
morning?
pretty late yesterday, so at like 12:30, I had like this Vietnamese noodle soup, which is called pho.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
It's like a Vietnamese noodle soup.
Okay. And where did you have?
Ow.
Okay. And can you elaborate a little bit more on the soup?
So it's
what-
like a beef bone soup.
Okay.
It has like vermicelli noodles, different types of meat like tripe, a lot of veggies like bean sprouts, like mint basil leaves, onions, and usually I put a lot of that in my soup.
Okay. So you had beef bone. It's a beef bone soup, and it's a vermicelli noodle. It had veggies and bean sprouts and onion.
And then
And
it's
what?
meats as well. So
Uh,
tripe,
And what?
like tripe, the beef.
Okay. And what veggies did it have? What other veggies did it have?
So mainly it's just bean sprouts and like basils, mint leaves, onions.
Okay. And what amount would you say you had the soup? Approximately like a cup, or this one's a cup. This one whole
I'd
cup.
probably say I had 2 cups of noodles,
Okay.
and then like 1 cup of bean sprouts. With a 1/4 cup of basils. In terms of soup-wise, it's probably gonna be like 3 cups, 3.5 cups. And I'd say a 1/4 cup of the meat.
So, and what else do you have with this? Anything else to eat or anything else to drink?
Just water
Okay.
throughout the whole day.
And what did you have after that? What was your next meal, or what did you eat or drink after that?
So I didn't eat any. Actually, I had a banana after that.
Okay.
Just like a medium-sized banana.
Mm-hmm.
And then for dinner,
Oh, before that, so the banana, what time did you have?
probably at 3 or 4.
Okay. So, to be more specific,
Okay, 3:30.
okay. So you had this at home, or
Mhm.
where did you have it? Okay. So, a mediums. I'm just trying to see if we have. Uh, no, we don't. I'll just mention it as medium sized. Okay. Okay. So, anything else to drink with the banana?
Just water.
Okay. Okay, and then what else after that?
After that I just had dinner, which was around like 7. And it was also at home.
Okay. So what did you have for dinner?
So it's basically, I don't know what it's made of, because my aunt cooked it, but it's like a Vietnamese crepe.
Okay.
And then inside of it, there's like shrimp and pork belly.
Can you repeat that one?
Pork belly, shrimp and pork belly.
Okay.
And then bean sprouts, onions. And then you wrap it with lettuce and mint leaves.
So these are the ingredients we had. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
So the batter itself, I don't know
mm,
how much of that, because it's just poured with like a spoon into the pan.
okay.
But in terms of like meat, like my pork belly and shrimp, I'd say probably a 1/4 cup of each.
Okay.
And then I'd probably say a 1/2 cup of, actually 1 cup of bean sprouts.
Mhm.
1/4 cup of onions, and then in terms of lettuce, I had like 5 lettuce.
Okay.
These are like lettuce wraps.
Okay. So for the batter, you said if you could measure in any of these, which measure would you take?
So she probably poured it with like a 1/2 cup.
1/2 cup.
Yeah, and then I had 2 of them. I also had some green onions in there as well.
Okay. So you had 2 of these.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to understand this. So this whole wrap with the lettuce leaf, 5 lettuce leaf with 1 wrap, or
So like you just break, it's like a crepe. So you just
okay,
like break the crepe in like pieces.
okay,
And then that's when I'll wrap it.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So a total, so let's say like it was a crepe,
Mhm.
then I'd probably cut it in like 4 or 8 or whatever. And
Okay.
then I'll wrap it with like a lettuce leaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I understand. So, anything else you have?
I also had a cup of squeezed passion fruit juice.
What time is that?
I had it during my dinner, so 7. And then just water.
You said grapefruit juice?
Passion fruit.
Passion fruit, sorry.
And a cup.
So this passion fruit juice, how was it made? I mean, it's
Like it's actually squeezed, like freshly squeezed.
freshly squeezed, okay. Did you add any sugar to
No.
it? No sugar, okay. Anything else added to that?
That's it.
Okay. So, and then, anything else onto this? Is this your usual pattern? Is this your usual ration?
No, because I was like at home, so
Okay.
I was like with my family, so they gotta cook for me.
Mhm.
But I do try to eat a lot more veggies since I've been away from home. Some days I don't really eat that many veggies. A lot of Vietnamese food contains a lot more veggies. So when I am away from home, like I'm at school, then I'll try to eat like a bowl of salad or something. But I do eat around that time, like 12.
Mm.
And then depends on what time I go to the gym, but I think my last dinner is probably like 9:30.
Okay. Your usual dinner time is at 9:30.
I stop eating by 9:30.
So just to make sure that we're on the same page, I'm just going to go over this whole thing again and try to remember if you had something else. If something is missing, then we can add it back again. So at 12:30 p.m. at home, you had this was your first meal of the day. You had Vietnamese noodle soup. It had beef bone, vermicelli noodle, and some veggies like bean sprouts, onion, and basil. And the amount was like 2 cups of noodles, 1 cup bean sprouts, 1/4 cup of basil, 1/4 cup of meat, and it was total 3 cups of soup. And after that, around 3:30, you had a banana, a medium-sized one. And at 7 p.m., you had a Vietnamese crepe. It's 2 of those crepes, and then it was wrapped with lettuce, cut into pieces, and wrapped with the lettuce. And it had pork belly, shrimp, bean sprouts, onion, lettuce, and mint leaves. And the amounts were 1/4 cup of shrimp, 1/4 cup of pork belly, and 1 cup of bean sprouts, 1/4 cup of onion, and so for the whole wrap, 5 lettuce were used. And then the batter, it took 1/2 cup of batter. And do you have kind of idea what goes into the batter? Okay.
Yeah.
And after that, at 7 p.m. at home, you had 1 cup of passion fruit juice, freshly squeezed with no sugar added. So this is about it. Anything else you want to add to this? Okay. And you also told me that this is not your usual meal pattern. This was there because you were at home, and otherwise you do try to have more of veggies, and your dinner time is usually around 9:30
It
p.m.
ends around 9:30,
Okay.
so I'll probably eat around just any time before that.
Okay. So, and And your first meal of the day, what time could that be?
Probably like 12.
Okay, it's the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You actually mentioned about you were interested in knowing more about balanced diet, eating a balanced diet. So before going into that, I would want to know just give me 1 minute. So you also mentioned that you have all you know about the balanced diet is through your class and some other information that you have gathered, and there's been a little bit of confusion between how much you know and what's being told in the class.
Mm-hmm.
The percentage is very big, and you want to know more about exactly what's the right kind of balanced diet is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have some information to share with you, if it's okay, and then you can have these handouts too with you later. Have you heard of My Plate before?
Mhm.
You have. Okay. So what do you know about My Plate?
I just know that it shows you like the portions, I guess, of how much you should be eating, of what kind, so like veggies, fruits, carbs, protein, dairy.
Okay. So it talks about the portion size.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And have you ever explored the My Plate? I mean, try to know more about it.
Yeah.
So initially they had something called as food pyramid before. Have you heard of
Mhm.
that? So now we don't use the food pyramid much often, but we use My Plate
Mm-hmm.
as a guide. And My Plate actually talks about you, and you were right about it. It talks about the portion size, and it also talked about what are the main nutrients that you would require, and things that it talks about are fruits and vegetables, how much of fruits and vegetables that you would have to have, and you also mentioned that you try to incorporate more veggies in your diet. That's a good thing. This talks about adding more vegetables in your diet, and the amount of protein you need to have. There are animals and non-animal sources for the protein. So you can, like, the nuts, seeds, and the beans are non-animal sources, and then you can use the protein from any of those sources.
Mm-hmm.
And the grains, it's always better to, not exactly better to, but it's been divided as whole grains and the refined grains.
Mm-hmm.
And whole grains has more fiber in it, which helps you in digestion and the bowel movements, and it's more healthier than the refined ones. So it is often advised to have more of whole grains and compared to the refined grains. So it says the goal is to make half your grains whole grains. Like if you're having a bread or a noodles, and try to have them with whole grains more often
Mm-hmm.
in a whole day. My Plate talks about the whole a meal thing. So, and it also tells you that this is what you need to have on your plate. So much amount of protein and dairy and veggies in a meal. So dairy, you can choose fat-free or low-fat yogurt or cheese to decrease the fat intake, and avoid sweetened milk products. When it says avoid, it doesn't have to be like really you'll have to stop using